The story of the internet begins in the late 1960s, a time when computers were massive, room-sized machines and communication technology was still finding its feet. The year was 1969, when a small group of scientists working for the U.S. Department of Defense developed something called ARPANET, short for the Advanced Research Projects Agency Network. It wasn't the internet we know today. There were no browsers, no websites, and definitely no Wi-Fi. Instead, it was a system designed to connect large government computers together through telephone lines. The very first message ever sent over ARPANET was between two universities, UCLA and Stanford Research Institute, and the first word transmitted was simply "hello," because the system crashed before completing the word "login." But that small moment changed history forever. Back then, internet speed was unbelievably slow, about 56 kilobits per second, kbps. That's thousands of times slower than what we use today. Computers communicated through clunky, dial-up modems that made screeching sounds as they connected. Each user had to wait for the network to connect before sending a single email or file. Yet, this early system was revolutionary. It allowed people to share information between distant computers for the very first time. In the 1970s, scientists like Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn invented something incredible, the TCP/IP protocol, which became the foundation of how the internet works. This technology allowed different computer networks to talk to each other in a common language. By 1983, TCP/IP became the universal standard, and ARPANET officially became what we now call the Internet. By the 1980s, universities, governments, and some large companies began using the Internet. But there were no pictures, no videos, just plain text. Email became one of the first popular uses, helping researchers communicate faster than ever before. People were amazed that messages could travel instantly from one part of the world to another. The first domain name, symbolics.com, was registered in 1985, marking the beginning of websites. Then came the 1G era, the first generation of mobile networks, launched in 1980. While 1G itself didn't carry internet data, it was mostly used for analog voice calls. It laid the groundwork for connecting mobile communication with the internet in the future. 1G phones were huge, heavy, and expensive. Devices like the Motorola Dynatac 8000X became the symbol of mobile luxury. You couldn't browse the internet on it, but it represented freedom, the idea that someday communication would be truly wireless. In the 1990s, the internet entered homes for the first time. The World Wide Web was introduced in 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist. Suddenly, the internet transformed from a military and research tool into something anyone could use. The first web browsers like Mosaic and Netscape made it possible to view text and images together on a single screen. That was mind-blowing at the time. Websites like Yahoo and AOL started appearing, and email became a daily habit. During the same decade, the 2G network arrived, which finally allowed mobile phones to send data, slow and small, but it was a start. People could now send text messages and very basic internet. The internet of the 1960s and 1970s was nothing like what we have today. There were no social media platforms, no YouTube, no streaming. Instead, it was like a hidden world used by scientists and engineers. Files were shared using floppy disks or through command line systems. It was the birth of digital connection, but not yet the digital age. Over the decades, the internet evolved through multiple generations. From the 1G analog networks of the 1980s to the 2G and 3G digital revolutions of the 2000s, humanity slowly built the digital empire we live in now. Every upgrade brought the world closer. Faster data, clearer communication, and smarter technology. But none of it would have been possible without that first connection in 1969, when a few engineers sent the word "hello" and unknowingly changed the destiny of our planet. Today, as we live in the 5G era, it's almost unbelievable to think that the internet once ran slower than a snail, connecting just 4 computers. Now, it connects billions of people, devices, and ideas around the world. From the simple ARPANET lines to the wireless web in your pocket, this journey proves one thing: even the smallest spark of innovation can light up the whole world.